We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Jacob Parrish, Kansas State corner. In this 2025 NFL draft class, this is one of my guys. This guy's an absolute dog. Such a good man coverage skills, really good anticipation instincts in that area. I love the physicality, his scrappiness. Like, he mostly played outside at Kansas State. I do think he's a guy that'll probably be more seen as a nickel just due to his size. But honestly, I kind of see, I think a good comp for him is Mikey Sainristil, the Washington corner, who's having a really good rookie season. And they have some similarities to their game, both being undersized, but just really instinctive, quick twitch athletes. And he's playing outside for them. So honestly, I could see him playing both, depending on what teams. But he goes to a heavy man coverage team. I could see him making a pretty big impact right away as a player. I feel like he's a guy that might go underdrafted because that's kind of what happens with some of these smaller guys. But he plays with a dog mentality. He rarely gives up separation. He's willing to get physical at the catch point. Just a very competitive player, and you can see it throughout. And he just has such a good feel for routes, and that's pretty much he can do it from press man when he's playing trail, or from off man coverage. He does a really good job just anticipating stuff. You can see him feeling this the route recognition one-on-one. This guy, he's already, you can just tell by him sinking his hips right here before the guys even broke to the inside, because he's just feeling that route break right there, and he's just in perfect position, sitting it on it the whole way there. Just really good job. And he's also just fluid, quick twitch. He can open up his hips, change direction, all of that good stuff. Just has such a natural feel when he's in man. I think in zone, he's not the best zone corner I've seen, but overall, he's got a decent feel there as well. I just think he's much better in man-to-man coverage. He's a good communicator. They were motion across pre-snap. He communicates with this guy. He's still going to take him man-to-man. He stays patient. He stays square. He gets hands on at the line of scrimmage. Now he's playing in a trail technique underneath. Boom, anticipates, stay in the hip pocket, not allowing separation. You're going to see this a lot. And so I'm very rarely allowing separation. Maybe sometimes he'll lose at the catch point because, maybe he's undersized a little bit, but he's very competitive there too, and, knocks a lot of plays out. Turns, locates the ball, doesn't come down with it. Doesn't have maybe the greatest hands to intercept, but he's going to, be competitive at the catch point. Makes just a really, really solid play there. And I like him turning that head around, locating it, and doing this with he didn't have help over the top to the outside. He knows he has some help to the inside and breaks with it perfectly. Just natural feel as a player, man. He's so good in those areas. Here he is on a vertical plane. This is why I think he does a pretty good job on some of these vertical routes. And usually this is why you don't want a guy. That's why a lot of guys that maybe are undersized, because usually they don't have the length and the long speed, because you need a speed and length usually to play on the outside. But he just has such a good feel and doesn't like separation, and he can still carry vertically. And I think he can do both, really. If you need a nickel outside guy, I think he can give you both there potentially. I do think maybe nickel will be better, but you can just see good technique. He's staying square. He's staying patient. He's weaving. He's still maintaining his leverage, but he's in a good spot. Match it perfectly. Once this guy commits, open up your hips after the read steps there. Boom. Stay over the top. And based on his positioning, since he's upfield shoulder positioning, he's on top of the receiver, he turns into the receiver to locate the ball, looking for a back shoulder type situation instead of turning away from the receiver. That's where you would, if you were a step back on that low field shoulder. But then turn, locate, stay competitive, and then help play that ball there at the catch point. Just really, really good job. And comes down with the interception too, being tough in a contested situation. Love seeing that. He is very, very scrappy, man. This guy is just an absolute dog. And he can do man from multiple different spots. Here, the receiver's giving him a pretty good stem, stem to the outside, giving him multiple different moves. And Parrish has, there's a lot of room to work with, because this guy's basically aligned at the hash, has so much room to the inside and the outside. So Parrish has to cover a lot horizontally. Even though he opens up his hips probably a little bit earlier than you would like, and the guy's able to get into a good spot, look at Parrish's ability to flip his hips back open, show that fluidity, and then show a closing burst to get back in position, and then good technique to, basically do a hook and swap, but he hooks the receiver without turning him too much, so he doesn't get the PI. That's just really well played football from Parrish, and doing it for multiple different things. Here you can see him kind of play almost like a nickel here, just because they motioned inside, so he basically gets to play he's that guy. Match the outside, knock that ball down. Love seeing that. I think he can do this because when you're more in the nickel, you don't have to cover as much vertically down the field because you have more help over the top, but it makes you have to cover more horizontally. And I think he does a pretty good job on horizontal route-based concepts. Like, he has such a good feel for that. And I think he, is very good, like, laterally as a player, very smooth. You can just see him opening up his hips, sit in the hip pocket, stay attached, don't allow, then turn and locate, find that football, knock it down. Just really like that. Another sort of nickel-based route. Want to see this. Got to be able to play underneath the zone. I think he looks more comfortable in an underneath zone than playing maybe a deep zone. So here he's just like, gains some depth, sits underneath, reading the QB's eyes. He feels this receiver working underneath. He knows he can, once he sees the quarterback commit to it, he gets downhill and then makes a big tackle. Like, he is a guy that is willing to hit. That's another big part of Parrish's game, which is something that I really like to see. And then he can go out the next rep, play on the outside, carry a guy vertically as you're bringing a blitz, turn, locate the football, play through the hands. He's a guy that is just plays with a lot of confidence, which is such a big, like, it's one of the most important things. Like, you need confidence just to play in the NFL in general, but out of like every position, I feel like you really need confidence to play corner because you're not going to win every rep. It's just a very tough position to play, especially man to man. But he's going out there competing over and over again. Here we get to see this. Boom, give a little hesitation off the line. Stay square, stay patient. Guy breaks on the inside, boom, play through the hands, play down. He can play from the top down. He can play getting physical, playing with a jam. He can play in trail. He can play off man. Just very difficult. Like, these guys, just no one was really. I feel like the only time I really saw him give up separation is when he maybe like tripped or something, got tangled up. But like, he was constantly just staying in hip pockets, and you can just see like this guy gets off the line, gets to that inside path. Parrish is squeezing it, and he can just tell the feel from this hip sync right here that he's able to cut with that and match it, mirror it perfectly. Brings to the inside, ball gets thrown over the receivers, but if it was thrown to where it was catchable, Parrish is there to just knock it down completely, take that situation away. And it's just man coverage after man rep. Like, he is doing this constantly, and he's willing to get on the line, play press, be physical, doing it from the outside, the inside. He'll play from off, and it's just mostly man. Love seeing this too. Like, guy tries to take an outside release, Parrish just stonewalls him, boom, forces him back to the inside where he has, that deep safety help. And now the guy tries to, break to the inside. He's undercutting it. Ball goes somewhere else. But, like, love seeing that physical side from Parrish's game. And he's just bullying receivers. Like, here they go, RPO. And he just jams him off the line. Stops that. The guy tries to go to the inside. Forces the QB just to have to throw it down because it was a RPO concept. But Parrish, boom, again and again. Sometimes gets maybe a little too handsy, but I don't mind it for a smaller guy. Like, right there, you can see he's pulling a little bit at the back. But like, he plays with that physicality a lot, and I just like seeing that for the most part from a smaller guy. Turn, locate on the sideline, use the sideline to your advantage, get pressed, physical off the ball. Once they get past 5 yard, stop being as physical, but then turn back into the guy. I think he just does like mostly a good part for just being physical, but not being overly physical, especially once you get to certain parts. Understanding like when they're going to call a flag, have a feel for that type of thing. Just really good work from Parrish. Use the sideline to your advantage. Here's another example of him using the sideline. Just really good spatially aware player. Some guys don't have that natural feel for it, and Parrish is doing it. And you can see he can play top down, closing speed. We've seen him play where like he has to sit on things, but like, and they work to his depth. This is more of a quick breaker, on the slant, and he just feels it the whole way. Boom, like you can, like, he's already sticking that foot in the ground. He is ready to stick that foot in the ground as soon as, like, he is looking towards the QB off the snap here, and he sees the QB takes a quick drop. He's already ready to prepare to throw off one step. So Parrish is sticking that back foot in the ground to break before this receiver's even broken, gets his eyes back to it, takes a great angle, and then helps make a play at the catch point. Like, he has such a good feel for these situations. He understands, like, when the QB hits that back foot, like, that's probably when he's going to try to throw the ball, and he makes that play. Just a very aggressive, confident player. Here's look at him jam. But you see the motion. So he's man-to-man on this guy. He communicates, like, hey, he works past the receiver. You take him. I'm going to get the other guy, the new number one, and I'm going to jam him off the line. And now he throws off that route timing. That looks like where the quarterback is going to want to start to go off his read because everything's kind of taken away. And now that's not all sort of thrown off, and then maybe this would come open, but now this guy's not exactly where he needs to be. This all kind of gets jumbled up. It forces the QB to escape the pocket and just like throws off the timing of everything. Like, really good work. And he's also willing to get involved as a runner versus the run and as a tackler. Those are things Parrish does right there. Number 10. in the box. That's something, if he does play more nickel at the next level, he has to be able to do. And he goes out there and gets that job done. And it's just a lot of good stuff. That's why I think it's the amount of times I saw him play vertical routes well that makes me feel like he could also play on the outside. Like, he'll have losses there every now and then, but it wasn't a very consistent thing of him losing on the outside. I do think he could still fit better at the nickel, but he's one of those guys that even though, most people will look at his his play style, his feistiness, his size, and will think nickel. He's one of those guys that I could potentially see playing nickel and outside, just kind of depending on his scheme, or just playing both at the next level, just depending on who's around him. If they got a better nickel, better outside guy, but Parrish is a guy I really like, and I think he should go somewhere in day 2. So if you guys let me like, comment, subscribe,